Hey, good morning, everybody on here. And wow, this is take two. Seems like technical things are challenging me lately. So if you see me swatting things around and moving around a little bit, we're getting a lot of mosquitoes out here right now. So I'm kind of bearing with that while I get through the video this morning. Hey, I want to share with you some big pieces that are going on. And in our codes right now, we actually have some amazing stuff, and I'm sorry, I'm kind of trying to get some spatial aspects here. We have some big stuff that's happening, and even though it may have sounded like we have a lot of tough things happening right now, that, a lot of challenges, a lot of lies and manipulation and trickster energy going on at this time. We also have some really favorable stuff because the choices that we're making right now are having huge impacts, not just because we're on top of the new moon time, but because that's another current within the codes right now. And so, what we have going on is affecting a lot of different existences. Now, people have been coming to me lately and they've been saying, man, have my fears been getting triggered? And I'm not exempt from that. I'm really not. Um, some of our biggest fears, the things that we never thought we would have to be dealing with right now, things that affect our livelihood, our ability to live, our ability to have the basic requirements and needs are being threatened right now. And this is part of just really big transitions that are happening for us in the world, really big shifts that are going on right now. And so it's something that I really wanted to address because this is kind of a piece that's active for a little bit. And I want to talk about what fears are from a code perspective and talk about um, how that plays into our processes of things. And so the thing that happens oftentimes is people freeze up in their fears. They get locked in their fears and they start to get immobilized. And when that happens, it's kind of like dead wood. And there's a lot of, I don't know if you can see, but there's a lot of dead wood here um, where I'm at today. And it is an aspect that when dead wood, like a dead tree branch, is left on a live tree, it's taking nutrients away from what is live and active and what is um, available for the rest of the tree. And then when we have the branches that are on the ground, what they're doing is they're creating a lot of fuel for a possible fire, right? Which means it can take out all the beauty and all the life when we leave that dead stuff in. So when we are not facing the fears in our life, it's kind of like keeping a lot of dead wood around and not clearing it out and not getting rid of it. And using it for other things, right? Because we know that dead wood can be used for all kinds of things, whether we're creating a shelf for furniture or a fire. I know that's not the most environmentally friendly thing, but sometimes that's still a nice thing to have once in a while. And so we have a lot of benefits that that dead stuff can be used for. We just need to make that transition and clear it out from our live stuff. So that's kind of what happens when we are starting to face fears in our life. We are clearing out the dead wood and we're stepping into some additional pieces here. So now when I start to look at that, a fear on its own has highly transformative energy. A fear that shows up in our life from a code perspective means that something is coming to an end, something that maybe we weren't expecting to come to an end, something that is happening in a strange and unusual way. And we may feel like we're not really in control of it. We may feel like we don't have a lot of power over it or what's happening. When we get fears in the plural sense happening for ourselves, and we have multiple fears coming up from a code aspect, then what we're dealing with is we're right on the edge of breakthrough. We're right on the edge of some really big successes. So I like to see those fears as really that final test, that final pushing through, that final piece that shows up like an initiation shows up, right? Like almost like a shamanic initiation in a sense, because what it does is it shows up in our life to get us to put the wisdom into action. Because in the fear process, we've started from a space of abundance. We started from a space of feeling solid. We started from a space of feeling like everything was okay. And then we had our trust shaken up along the way. And in the process of that trust shaking up, we had to tap into our wisdom and the lessons that we know and the things that we know and all of that. And then we had to finally embrace the journey. And so when the fear is active there, we are so close. We just got to embrace the journey and we just need to see it through. When we abandon the fears, what happens is we lock all that deadwood energy into our life. And so that keeps playing up and that keeps coming back on us and keep coming back on us until we are willing to deal with it. Now, I know myself, I've been dealing with some things in my life, and I realized in this process that in the past, I always kind of jumped ship and I left my mess for somebody else to clean up. And that's not what I intended to do. I thought I was just getting myself out of the drama and the trauma and all of that. But in essence, I realized this time around, that's what I was doing. So now I have to see this process through. I have to create a different outcome. I have to leave on my own terms and not under the stress, and not because I'm running away from something that I fear. And this is a big thing that we got to differentiate, whether you're running away from a fear or whether you are um, needing to embrace the fear. And I look at this kind of like, if you are running away from a fear, then it actually shows that it's actually a piece of, how do I want to say, running away from a fear is like you have, you don't have any other options, but you're just choosing to kind of freeze up in a way, I guess is a way to put it. When we face our fears, what we're doing is we are choosing a wiser path. We're setting a clear path for ourselves going forward. And I had a great parallel in there, and I think I kind of lost it on that process. But it's kind of the difference of putting yourself at risk or um, choosing another available option at hand, choosing a wiser path, but still seeing the path through along the way. And you have to know, do you have the right equipment? Have you gained the right skills? Have you gained the right wisdom? And if you've got the wisdom, all you need to do really is apply it when these fears come up. And that's where people feel the most challenged, because they get so wrapped up in believing that they don't have the wisdom. The reason that they don't a lot of times is because they believe that somebody else has control over the situation. So for some people that might be a supervisor or a manager or a parent, or, you know, even in today's world on a global level, it can be our government officials or diplomats and people like this. And we're turning our power over to them. And when we do that, we're not taking command of the situation. So if we turn our power over and we stop taking command of the situation, we stop choosing for ourselves, whether that is choosing to have more environmentally friendly containers in our life, or whether that is choosing to not allow people to bully us, or whatever the case is. There's so many options there, or speaking our voice, or it is, you know, standing up for who we are and being true to ourselves and not allowing people to decide what direction our life is going to go. You know, it's like that parent who tells you, hey, you're going to go to business school and you really want to go do dance school or art school or something else. So these are the types of things that we want to take a look at in things when you have these fears coming up, because you are on the edge of success, you are in a transformative period, and the way you handle your fears and whether you choose to see them through and whether you embrace the journey and see the process through to the end or not is going to make a difference in so many different areas. It's going to make a difference whether you're going to have to repeat that again in another form, or whether you can actually bring closure to it. So it's really about putting your wisdom in motion, trusting the wisdom that you have and the knowledge that you have. And that's a big part of getting through our fears in this and this. And I have a couple of little notes, so I want to make sure I just catch it all in here. Now, a big piece that allows us to get through or past our fears is purity. And purity and being pure are really, really important. This is what's going to remove fear, because what purity does is purity calls us, when we're standing in purity, we are standing in our soul self. We're embracing the wisdom of our soul self to allow us to see the journey through. Now, when we become pure, we make our life pure, we operate in a pure way. And pure way means that we're not having hidden agendas and motives. We don't walk up to somebody and say, hey, how's it going? How are you doing? And then come at them with this whole other thing of, I don't like this. Or, pure is you come to the table and you're upfront about what's happening for you. You take ownership in things. You don't push it off and make somebody else the issue or somebody else the problem and things. So when we're operating on a pure means, what we're doing is we are really, again, we're tapping into wisdom. We're tapping into moving through life with a positive, a loving relationship with our fear or our fears. And that's a huge thing, because when we do that and we come from a pure space, now we have a space to create something positive out of something that's scary for us. We have the opportunity to transform the situation into something that can be really successful for us, that can give us opportunities, that can allow us to really get in and embrace the experiences. And this is what I want to really talk about. We need to embrace the experience through journey or with journey. That sense of journey is remaining open, remaining objective, remaining in the possibilities, seeing the assets. And it's like, I've had some things come up and they've really, really challenged me. And so instead of allowing myself to go too deep into the fears of what was happening, I kept saying, well, thank you for making me so much stronger. Thank you for refining me in a way that now I'm functioning even better. I'm functioning in a way that is even more powerful than I was before. So I went into that gratitude space and I went into observation. And so this becomes a very, very powerful space. And I want to talk about this. Embrace experience with a journey. So embrace your experience that you're having with the sense of journey. And when we do this, it all comes down to, and this is why you want to be in a pure space, because how you use your energy dictates whether you rise or fall in the situation. And so that's going to be really important. So the embrace part is about step into your soul self. And then the experience part is act responsibly. So you're going to step into your soul self and act responsibly in the situation. And you're going to act from your own choices, your own wisdom, your own knowledge, your own decisions, and not from the influence of others. Because, again, even if they have your best intentions at hand, then you still want to consider that, because they still may not be giving you what you need. So you got to step into your soul self and act responsibly from your own decisions, your own knowing, and then embrace the journey, embrace the process, see it through all the way. And when we experience it with journey, and journey is about our abundant self. So when we combine that aspect of stepping into the soul self and then acting responsibly, we then automatically start to connect with our abundant self. We automatically start to connect with what provides us with the greatest yield, the greatest result from what is happening in the situation. It allows us to come out with a benefit. It allows us to come out with joy and something to celebrate in the process. And when we bring, again, all of these pieces together, it's like we have the chance to hit the jackpot in life. We have the chance to get it all. We have the chance to get more than what we are hoping for in life. And things are going to happen in a big way. And it's going to bring everything to completion, give us a new beginning, and a new beginning from a place that is full, a place that is got everything flowing from a space of flow for us. So again, that rise or fall is a huge thing. And I just want to say, hey, thanks for listening in. Take care, everybody, and I will see you next month.